All right. Hey there, and welcome to today's episode where I want to talk about the cost of waiting. And, this is going to be one of those episodes that may hit some nerves and, in all transparency, in somewhat intended to, because a lot of what I really want to help create here is transformation. And sometimes transformation comes from hearing uncomfortable truths that we don't want to face, that we've been avoiding, but we secretly know, right? And so, before we dive in, if you don't know me, my name is Matt Codde, and I'm the founder of Restored Minds and the creator of the AAA Response. And if you are on this journey to look to break free and reclaim your life from OCD and anxiety and chronic states of stress, I have some links down in the notes that I'd like to share with you, or you can head over to restoredminds.com. And if you like the show, please help us out real quick by liking, subscribing, and leaving a nice review. So let's go ahead and talk about the cost of waiting. And I'll try to make this a concise episode just so, wanting to really dive right into the core of the message. So I'm on calls every week with, people who are looking for help. And what I've realized is, there's a broad spectrum of where people are on their journey when someone's really ready for help and when someone's kind of dabbling their feet. And, there's a point on the journey where someone really is at the place where they're ready for transformation. And a lot of times what has to happen is the person has to try certain paths and not have the success that they're looking for, or they have to, go at it by themselves because they feel that that's what's best for them. And, overall, I want to say that I really do my best to honor everyone's journey, because I don't presume to know when the right time for everyone is like they know intuitively. And how you know when you're ready to truly transform is the language that comes up again and again is that I'm done, right? Like I'm literally done. When someone says that to me, that is communicating such a deep inner state of this desire to transform. And when that's there for the individual, learning and implementing and embodying what they need to do becomes quite easy. Because saying I'm done is really where you've reached your point of like, I can no longer coexist with this. And one of the barriers that I've seen to transformation is waiting until you feel like it's the right time. And so I want to talk about that today, because it's just a something that comes up in almost every conversation that I've ever been in, is that, the idea of like, well, I don't think right now is the right time, right? Or I want to wait until this. And what happens is, and this is, coming from conversations I have with people of all walks of life, people that have waited, months from when this was first going on to years to decades, right? And I want to talk about the cost of waiting itself. Because the reality is, and here's like the biggest truth that I can express to you in this episode, is that it will never, ever, ever feel like the right time. No matter what. Fear, by its very nature, will always convince you that it's not the right time to do this, because it's not actually about time, right? This is the interesting thing, is saying that it's not the right time is a misunderstanding of what you're actually, what the issue actually is. Because what the issue is I don't want to feel, I don't want to confront this experience. And so waiting for the right time usually means that it is translated emotionally is saying, I want to wait until this doesn't feel like this. And confronting a feeling you don't want to feel by waiting for it to feel how you want it to feel is, in its very nature, never going to happen. And if the topic itself, again, the projection, like I talked about in the last episode, changes, it will just change to something else. And fear, by its very nature, that you will never feel like it's the right time. It just doesn't happen. So, because it's not really about time, it's about the emotion, it's about the uncomfortable experience. And no matter how much you want to convince yourself that it's about something other than that, this is really the central point of this, is that your mind will convince you that it's a better time takes place. So then you naturally put it off to the future. You say, you know what, in 1 month it will be different, right? In 3 months it'll be different. And, in 6 months it will probably be where I want to be. 1 year, 3 years, And the thing is, it's an interesting book called The Willpower Instinct. And the person who wrote it, and I'm spacing on their name right now, read it a long time ago. But they talk about the ability to deflect into the future, and how the interesting thing is when we deflect something into the future, it's like we put it on our list of things to do, and that we can continuously do that. And we actually feel better temporarily when we put it on a list, because we are like, oh, well, I'm going to do it. So we like take the pride and ownership of like, yeah, I kind of did it already because I said I'm going to do it. Right. And we actually feel better about it. Right. So for instance, when you like make a list of like, I need to clean my house and I need to do this and this, just making the list itself gives you a certain sense of like uplifted energy and feeling better. So telling yourself that you're going to confront it in the future actually alleviates some of the pressure from you temporarily, but it doesn't actually address the problem. And what will happen is people will constantly put it off, again, months, and then months become years, and years all of a sudden become decades, and so on and so forth. And I've had conversations with people at every point in the journey, from like, hey, this just onset this last week, to, hey, I've been dealing with this for over 50 years. And what I've learned is this idea of I'm waiting for the right time, or the cost of waiting itself. What people never seem to factor in is the actual cost of waiting. Because here's what the truth is that you never have to really feel ready. You just have to feel willing. You don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing, right? For transformation. You have to be willing to do the things to act in your higher interests today, and not put it off till tomorrow. And the cost of waiting comes with several things. Number one, time cost, right? There is an amount of time that you have on this earth. We don't know how much it is. And by not addressing it, you're costing and investing the time into feeding fear. Because with fear, you don't stagnate. You don't stay where you are. You either get better or you get worse. And the more fear grows, the smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller your life becomes. So you can almost assure yourself that the more time you invest in feeding fear, over time, the smaller your life is going to become. So waiting is not just, hey, I'm putting this off. Waiting is choosing a smaller life, right? Indirectly, of course. You would never consciously do that, but that's what happens. Because I've seen this not only in myself, but I've seen this in the probably thousands of conversations I've had to this point. The cost of waiting is not just is partially the shrinking and the prison that forms over different aspects of your life. Because fear is indirectly, that's what fear is a prison. It's the best way to say it. Fear creates a prison. And we convince ourselves that the prison isn't that bad, and that, it's not, I can make it, I can, I get by, I do what I need, I get my needs met, right? I my responsibilities done. But at the end of the day, we secretly know that we live in a prison, that we can't do certain things in our life because fear will not allow us to. And that's a prison. That's a significant cost, because during your time on this earth, you're allowing yourself to stay imprisoned. The second is opportunity cost. See, what most people can't see because of where they are, whether they're in the prison of fear, or the fear, is skewing the way they're perceiving the world, is they can't see the possibilities that exist by not living in that field, or said differently, by the possibilities that will open up by addressing it head on, by not waiting. This is called opportunity cost. And the hard thing about opportunity cost is, in many ways, it's very challenging to become aware of, because you'll never be able to see it from the current plane that you're looking at everything through. Right? You can maybe, intellectually understand it, but you can't really see it. And it becomes so obvious, though, once you confront and go through and overcome and transcend fear, because you actually get to a plane where you can see the opportunities that open up and how quickly they really do. So opportunity costs are the ideas that when you wait, you prevent and miss all the opportunities that are available outside of fear. So by waiting and staying in the prison, there's not only the time you lose to being in prison, but there's also all the things that could potentially be available. So this happens in various forms. It can be, if you weren't dealing with this fear, you could be able to go out with your friends tonight, and that could lead to you meeting to someone, who could lead to you dating, to ultimately getting into a relationship, to growing a family, to whatnot, right? That could lead to you taking a certain position that maybe you aren't able to take right now because of your fear, that then leads to a whole different career trajectory. You can't see these things because they're technically hypothetical, but they exist outside of the level of fear. And the opportunities that are available are everywhere. I mean, like, it's so funny. Like, I think about, like, even business opportunities, right? Like, I used to live in a plane where I didn't think there was any, like, business opportunities available, right? When I was really in fear, or, whatever, because I couldn't see them. Now it's like, when I go about my day, I can see, 30 businesses that could be started, right? It's like, it's wild, but I can see the opportunities literally everywhere. I couldn't see those in that previous state. It's not that they're not there. It's that because you're in the state you're in, you're unaware of the opportunities. And because you miss them from not addressing, or because you wait, those opportunities don't, soon become unavailable, because there's a window for opportunity. And it's not that opportunities aren't available in the future. It's just you don't realize all the things that you are missing. And I want to talk about this because so much of what I see people, when they displace addressing fear or their recovery into the future, they falsely assume that because they said that they're going to do it in 3 months, that they actually would do it in 3 months, right? But what most people do is 3 months comes up and it's like, hey, you know what? Let's move 3 months more out. Actually, let's just move to the summer, because then, I'm off school, and this, and then, and then summer happens. Yeah, but I have this trip, let's do. And all of a sudden, that pushing out just becomes your habit. That just becomes your process, that you just push it out and push it out and push it out. And, one day I'll feel like doing this. But at the end of the day, there's many people out there where that day never comes. And they push it out and push it out and push it out and push it out. And they live in this confined prison, and life slowly passes by. Opportunities slowly fade off. Opportunities that were once there are no longer there. And this is the cost of waiting. And I think it's important that if you experience with this, that we don't like sugarcoat this topic, right? And I wanted to make this episode and speak authentically on it. And I'm sure, there's going to be maybe some negative messages that get sent on this. But then there's going to be the people here who really listen to this, who pay attention to it and feel into their heart and go, this is what I'm really doing. And this message is for you, if that's you, because this message is not to create fear or scarcity or drive. It's to come to the realization that literally, if you're waiting for the right time, it will literally never happen. And because I create this every week to try to help people have the transformation that they really want to have, that means that I need to address sometimes the things that are so obvious that we're still not seeing at the same time. So I hope this was helpful, and I do hope this serves you. And I'm not here to create, negative feelings. I'm simply here to show you the things that often keep people stuck. And by doing that, by becoming aware of it, my hope would be that you would transcend it. So, all that to say, I wish you a great day and a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Hey there, thanks so much for watching that episode. If you found it helpful, we have some links to some other episodes that we think you might like as well. And if you're looking for help on your journey to recovery from fear, stress, and anxiety, either check out the links in the notes or head over to restoredminds.com. Thank you, and talk to you soon.